întâmplat de joburi non-conformiste de la delivery paperboy și chiar și bani până la list de safari. Așa că I will invite you to talk to us about how to grow up, no?
I don't know if I'm an expert on that. So good morning. I just want to say before I start that everything we heard from Jean this morning, Hans and Bogdan, I completely agree with. So I'm not going to go back to those points because I've only got 25 minutes. But I think there was an awful lot, certainly for me, which was meaningful. Let me know when you're ready and I'll pick up. So what am I going to talk to you about? Essentially me, a little bit, so you get some background. I've got 20 minutes or 20, now 19 minutes. Okay, a little bit of background. Then I'm going to talk about you guys, a little bit about Romania, what I think, so take it for granted. Before you get the wrong idea, I fell in love with this country, was here for 4.5 years, so I'm a massive supporter. What I say might not give you that impression, okay? Remember, I love the country, and I love the people, and then I'll just try and give you my impressions of my time here, and I think why you've got the potential you do have. And then at the end I'll give you some view of what I think about leadership styles, etc. And then we'll wrap it up hopefully in 19, 14, 13, 12 seconds or something like that. Okay, firstly a little bit about me. This is my travel guide. If you want everything that you see in red are countries where I physically lived for longer than 1 year. Okay, because that doesn't qualify miles. Right? Everything else is only there because I've done long-term projects in those countries, probably somewhere between 3 and 6 months. On and off, but on average that time. Okay, everything else, holidays and all that nonsense, is not on the list. Okay? So that's just that's just a little bit of geography. So yeah, Romania was 4.5, India was 9, Zambia was 4, Poland, okay, that's 14 months now, and then all the other stuff in between. Yes, I'm 50 years old, okay, so that's qualified, alright? Okay, so yeah, generally that's what I would consider honestly home. A bit confusing, and maybe I am a bit confused, but that's the sum total of it. So if somebody says, where are you from? I don't really want to go through that list all the time, so I just say I'm British. They kind of assume I'm from England and leave it at that. Okay, otherwise it's a long conversation, or longer than I want it to be. Okay, this is kind of the title of my delivery, so it's not about my work, okay? We've heard a little bit about that today, but we'll try and go through it. So, briefly speaking, I'm sure this is very similar, whether it's for girls or boys. Obviously mine is a little bit more male focused, so I apologize to the ladies for that. So what did I want to be when I grew up? Well, basically, that's the one thing I can remember wanting to be before I was up until about the age of 10 or 12. And I did used to run around the garden, believing that I was just learning how to fly with a gun in time. Because yeah, it wasn't that so much of a superhero for me, but I think when your mother tells you you're special at that early age, whether it's right or wrong, I believed it. And so I just went on believing. I've got 2 brothers and a sister. I'll talk a little bit about them if I can remember to later on. So that's what I can remember wanting to be first. Second was this guy, Jacques Cousteau. John Denman's the guy on the other side in the picture, and they've got a great bit of music if you ever want to listen to Ikesh or whatever on YouTube. It's really worth doing. Its companies do very well. So marine biologist, I guess, living a life as an adventurer, but basically exploring the seas because I like the water. So that was up until about the age of 18 or 17, when some career advisor said if you want to be a marine biologist, you need to be very good at chemistry, and I wasn't, and I believed them. So I gave up on that one. Because somebody told me that wouldn't be achievable. Okay, so I thought, okay, we're going to happen. I'm back? Yeah, okay. If that's going to happen, then if I can't do it, I'll give up and I'll try something else, and I still wasn't really sure. Then there was this one. There's 2 versions to this particular story. One is I thought I'd like if I can't do what I want to do, I'll act. A bit like, Leslie's son, I can do something like that. But also, the serious part about it is I thought I'll become a tornado pilot. That was in the UK Navy at the time. That was the fighter plane that they had. So I went along for the aptitude tests and passed all of those. My brother at the time was doing the same thing in the Navy. He's 1 year older than me. He got in, and then once he was in, he said, "Give up, because you're deaf in one ear." And I have been all my life. This ear is completely useless. He said, "They won't let you become a fighter pilot because you're deaf in one ear. So give it up." So I gave that up as well. The dream about being Leslie's son is still there a little bit, I still think maybe I can act at one point. Instead, I was very active at school in terms of sports, not because I thought I was good at it, but because nobody said you can't do it. So I was playing hockey, ended up being captain of the judo team, gymnastics team, got into Kung Fu when we lived in Hong Kong. That was on the list as well, that was 5 years. The main three sports that I ended up playing, I would say, I don't want to boast too much, this is about me now, I'm going to talk to you about you guys in a minute. Rugby, in Africa, I played for Zambia, against Zimbabwe, swimming, I swam for Hong Kong, in the South China Sea competition, and I played cricket for Argentina against Chile as well. But those are sports that I enjoy, but still play to some extent. But then the big question is, okay, what do you do? What's your choice of career? Well, this is my resume. Okay? I mean, just to make it clear, I worked for a fitness company, I was a fitness instructor. Best job I ever had was a safari guide in Africa. My uncle didn't run, he built some safari parks, and because of that, I also managed to do 2 seasons with my brother in Zambia, showing people around animals. It was probably the most satisfying job I will ever have had in my life. I've been a barkeeper and worked in hotels a lot. In advertising for Ogilvy, at Maida at the time, Disney World, I worked for Mickey Mouse for about 6 months in the cultural, the Epcot Centre. I worked for a nightclub company, one of the biggest in the UK. Did a lot of stuff on technology, CRM, Salesforce, automation. You guys in FMCG know all about that stuff. Okay, so I'm not going to go into any detail. And tobacco I've been in for about 25 years. On and off. So I haven't been in tobacco, I've been working for companies that work very closely with the tobacco industry. I did not think I would end up doing this. At any stage of my life, but I think I just kind of lost look in my face there, I remember that was taken in Romania about 3 years ago, or something like that. I don't know what the heck. I was one of those moments thinking, really? This is it? But I'm enjoying it, don't get me wrong, I do enjoy it. So anyway, that's about me. What fascinates me? People, places, and potential. Really. People like this, I think a little bit like we were hearing from Hans this morning. I think they're largely similar, it doesn't matter what the locations are. Everybody still loves their kids love their mother. We all want more or less the same thing. Sometimes we have problems in expressing it. Places, I've been lucky. For me, not everybody likes to travel, but again, with the work, I've traveled quite a bit. And I enjoy that. It's also a real bitch sometimes as well, having to leave a place. Okay? So it's very difficult for me to leave Romania. I'll come back to that in a minute when I'm talking about you and you're going to hate me when I do that. And then potential. I think at the end of the day, try and explore potential of the people that you work with and yourself as well. I mean, if I ever get to a point where I think I know what I'm doing, or that I'm good at what I'm doing, I should probably give it up at that point, because then I think you're in a position where you start to kick yourself. But I'll come back a little bit on leadership and what at least it means to me. Okay, now about you guys. Yeah. Okay. 5 years ago, I came to this country. I had a wife, I had a father, I still have a couple of kids. They're still younger than me, so I don't have a wife anymore, I don't have a father anymore. So yes, it did have a very profound effect on me. I found it very interesting, very easy to settle into the country. It's probably, I guess it is at this point, it's the best time of my life was living in Romania. But it was also the worst time of my life. So that's not bad. That's not bad. I think if any country can give you that breadth of emotional reaction, yes, that's a good mark on me, which hopefully will serve me going forward. So I grew up probably quite a lot here. Quite a lot, but I don't know where I was coming from on that. Okay. What is Romania to me? Look, by the way, you guys really suck at marketing, you know? I'm sorry, there's so many marketeers here, but you really suck. I mean, honestly, you know, you go anywhere else, you sort of, I mean, any foreigner, I would say, any foreigner who watches TV, I mean, you've got the best marketing tools on the planet, but I arrive in Romania and I say, oh yeah, great, this is like Transylvania. You know, vampires, you know, look at vampires. There's no vampires, that's rubbish, that's something made up by some British guy who never came to Romania. You know, he doesn't know what he's talking about, no vampires. We don't, okay, that's kind of cool to have vampires. There's a romantic notion about vampires, you know that. But then you gave it away to Hollywood. You decided, no, you don't want vampires, you can't do that, let Hollywood do it, so Hollywood owns vampires. But they're your possession. Okay, so then you have to think about how do you rebrand a vampire, get a super vampire and bring it back to Romania. But we'll get there. I always wear this, by the way. This is a silver garlic clove. So especially when I did this in Romania, I put it on, because there are some people who need protecting. And a very good friend of mine gave me this, and said, Ian, especially you need this when you come in. Anyway, it's very important to me. So, vampires we maybe touch on again. Gypsies is the next one. Everybody, at least me, but everybody I talk to us, we have a romantic notion about gypsies. Come on, I mean, for Christ's sake, somebody else has already done the work. You guys hate gypsies. I mean, why? Because you think that's the export. Outside, everybody thinks the gypsies Romanian. That's their problem. They don't understand they're not. But you can't perpetuate that myth. I mean, you suck at marketing. Really? You know, I had a notion of a gypsy should have something like this. You know? Really? Dancing around like, you know, some sort of campfire somewhere. I would use it to bring people in to the country. Just like I would use vampires in whatever reinvented state to bring people into the country. And I know you guys think at the moment that's cheap and that's silly. We'll see what you think about it at the end, okay? But I don't think, I think you need to play on what people's romantic notions of countries are, rather than reinforcing your own insecurities, which you have a lot of, okay? Like all of us, by the way. But you guys kind of major on superstition and insecurity and, you know, let somebody else save us, let not be ourselves. I think the other thing I said this morning is true. You guys are the future of this country. Either you will change it, and you are changing it, but either you will change it fast, or your children will, you know, and then you leave the job to them. But that's your responsibility, not mine. I'm not here anymore anyway, so. Last one, and you have bears and wolves that howl at the moon in the night, together with the vampires and the gypsies dancing around the campfire. I mean, come on, you know. You've got everything going for you. I'm just priming myself for a job application here, by the way. That's all it's really about. So the largest population of bears in Europe, if I'm not mistaken, you have to come to Romania, live here for like a year before you discover this, and then go for a walk in the woods to see one. So you can't do anywhere else. It's a bit spooky, but you don't look after people a bit better than you do, but never mind, it's still a bit scary. So, and then there's this. This for me was a killer book, written only 2 or 3 years ago. Yes, Humphreys is an Englishman. Just like Stoker, okay? So he writes this book, Black, The Last Confession. Anybody read it? It's fucking typical. Okay. This is a novel written by an English professor at Oxford University. A novel about your history. Okay, it's about Vlad Tepes. Okay, that's the lad, yeah? Okay? The great discovery for me, reading this book about 3 years ago, oh, that's a great book, it's a really good read, is I discovered then, shit, Dracula actually existed. The word, Dracula, you know, Dracula, lad, son of blah, blah, all that, okay? So in the 1450, whatever it was, if I remember, all of your history with Stefan Chalmai and the fighting and all the tribalism, if you like, the way it's on. What a great history. But this book makes the vampire real. And it's a much more interesting history once you've got the tourists in. So come in with a romantic notion. And then you've got a much better story in this country. You get people to tour around and understand the depth and the history of Romania. And it's a good read, by the way. If you want to learn a little bit more about your own country, read this. You'll enjoy it. Read it, I mean, for Christ's sake, you can read it in English, and you can understand me. Anyway, I'm not going to take any position. Okay. This is what I'm trying to say. I haven't got very much time, but I have you. Get your heads out of the fucking sand. Have a little bit more belief in what you do. Very nice. Sorry. I told you, it's a male view. It's a male view. Okay? So any references I have tend to be a bit more feminine than male. You guys all going to look like move on? Yeah? Here's something else. You know these guys? Anybody know these guys? Okay, we're talking about a country with a vampire history, yeah? We own these things. Of course, if you've got a lot of vampires, you know, true blood and all that sort of bollocks that goes with it. I mean, this guy, within the last 8 months, looks like he's discovered synthetic blood. Alright, he's studying away at the university in Cluj, if I'm not mistaken, or somewhere near there. This is probably one of the most groundbreaking research discoveries in medical science at the moment. It works. The only problem is it doesn't last very long at the moment. So it's a technical glitch. So blood transfusions, you don't necessarily need it. You can just give it to anybody. Absolute breakthrough. He's Romanian, obviously with a name like that. Okay? And I'm touching on potential here. Potential, what's actually going on in the country, what sometimes is missed. Because I don't know too many Romanians inside Romania that have a great national pride. They don't really talk about it. If you want to meet a Romanian with national pride, you better leave the country and find them somewhere else. Because then, of course, they're talking about the romantic motions. Because they're all at home, and they miss it. And the other guy, this one, he's just won, some $100,000 grant from some Smithsonian Institute or whatever, because he's one of the leading mathematicians on the planet. Okay, he's in the US, Berkeley University, etc., and he studies, let me see if I can even think about it, I don't even understand the meanings of the words, but it's something like non-linear wave diffusion, whatever that means. But he's won a lot of money to do work, which is in an area which is very significant, and he's Romanian. You know, studied here, grew up here, did all this stuff here, won his first prizes here, and now he's in the US. Just like your vampires, they're all in the US now. You know? And there are many, many, many stories like this. I mean, Bob Dan, same story. You know? Somebody works hard, gets through it, does it right. You know, so there's a huge amount of potential in this country. And when I'm in Poland, as I am now, and they all say, where did you come from? 3 fucking minutes, that's it? I'm going to hurry up. Okay. Good. I said, no, Romania. They go, I've never been. I said, no, we should go. They've got the best clubs in the world. The best clubs in the world. You know, you've got the great clubs at the old city, around Ericstrand Park, you have Mamaia as well. Okay, the view's not so great with the refinery, but the clubs are damn good. You know? Really. I mean, there's got so much potential here. I mean, even the city name, I mean, I know this isn't true, but it sounds true to a foreigner. Bucharest, oh, what does that mean? I asked that. And then I read some, I don't know, what was it, about 4 years ago, somebody was writing here, a Brit was writing here in some magazine. He put this down, Bucharest, Bucharest, yeah, Bucharest, City of Joy. No, nobody here is thinking about City of Joy. You know, how that might be used to market the country externally, to get people in, to then talk about vampires, to talk about this, to talk about bears and wolves, and then to talk about that. Come on, okay? Really, it's very, very easy, so do it. Apply it as well, the work you do, FMCG, doesn't matter whether it's resale or not, there's a huge amount that you can do. Stop sucking at marketing. You don't have to lie. Because this isn't a lie, and neither is blood. So neither is the vampire, or the gypsy, or the bear. No, the bear's nothing, okay, it's bear grip, but it's mine. What do I do that with? Is that you?
You have more time from us.
Okay, I just need control of it. Because it's so fucking easy. Okay, a little bit on leadership, on style, that's all. Okay, so my approach to it, or what I think I might have learned, or I'm learning as we go. Leadership, what's it about? Well, what it's not about is kissing ass or getting people to kiss your ass. You get that from your authority. It's a very nice ass to kiss. Sorry, but it is. It is. But you get that from authority and the positions you get. And of course people will do what you ask them to do because they're afraid. That if they don't do it, they're going to lose their job. So you get power if you want it, but it's bullshit power. You know, the idea to try and get people to do the right thing and buy into it does take work. And it means you have to actually mean it. You can't fake this stuff. You know, you can't fake the sincerity unless you're Ethan Hawke or something like that and you're a very good actor. You know? You can't. You have to learn this sort of thing as well. So it's not about getting your ass kissed. I think there is a big difference between leading, getting people to want to come with you on the basis that not only they understand where you're going, but they probably believe it as well. Which means you need to listen to them. To try and formulate a strategy, not get them just to kiss your ass all the time. But this is probably at the heart of it. Many of you may have listened to TED, you know, the TED speeches, you'll have got some of them from somewhere. I really encourage you in your Facebook pages to go to the TEDs and just like it, and you'll get all of this stuff coming all of the time. But there's a guy called Simon Sinek, and he's very well worth listening to. And I listened to one of his a couple of weeks ago about leadership and why people fear what they do fear, let's say, in their work life and home life. But essentially, and I'm not going to steal his thunder, but I would really encourage you to go and listen to Simon's speeches. It's really about trust. So if you're working or you're leading, it doesn't matter what position you're in, you lead from the bottom, you can lead from the top, but if you're leading, a lot of it comes down to trust and the environment that you create, I think, around you at work. And it does come down to that. Who's got your back? Who's going to look after you? When you are trying to stick your neck out somewhere, who understands what you're trying to do? And as a leader, have you got the back of the people beneath you? When you're exposing them to something, rather than letting them fall. Make sure they can make a mistake, maybe even a couple of mistakes if it's in different areas. If they keep making the same mistake, fire them, because that's just stupid. But as long as they know they've got a comfort factor in order to try and experiment and learn, then yes, I think it's a very legitimate way to lead. Probably people will feel more secure in your tribe, you know, which is essentially what Simon talks about a lot, where our fear comes from. So, another part of this is, you know, looking at people within an organisation. We always talk about headcount, especially in big corporations, and you're all used to this, how many heads, you can't have more, you know? But how many people are actually talking about heart count, trying to get inside people so that they lead? If you have to take bad decisions or tough decisions, not bad ones, tough ones for companies, you know, who's in a position where they're likely to say, okay, all of us will work one day less, rather than 30% having no job. It's just a thought. It may not be applicable in today's world, but today's world is a bit fucked up. You know, we quite happily give bankers and allow bankers to have huge bonuses. I hope there's no bankers here at the moment. Maybe there are a few, I saw someone on this. But these guys take a huge amount of money, basically, for taking risks on other people's behalf. And you know, it can be very painful in an economy. But if we stood up and these people were still alive, and to use some of Simon's work here and said, okay, we're going to bonus Mother Teresa $200 million. How many people would disagree with that? How many people would say no? Or if we said the same about, you know, Gandhi, who was still here. Nobody would question that. But of course we question like hell when the top bankers get $20, $30, $40 million as a bonus. So, what I would encourage, and I try to encourage myself when I remember, is to try and think, you know, try something different. Even at work. Try slightly different or see how it works. Take a few risks. I think it's important. And be prepared in today's world. I think you have to be prepared to lose your job. I know it's a bit scary. You know, but you have to be prepared to lose your job. Otherwise, how are you going to push the needle? How are you really going to make anything different for anybody around you, or even for the companies you work for? I'm not saying you have to take silly risks, but push the boundaries as much as you possibly can within your context. There's somebody once told me that passion is a state, you know, that lives somewhere between, or exists somewhere between desire and satisfaction. And I think it's a great state to try and live your life. second. Everybody got it? Yeah? No? We can move on. Alright. So, best advice, yeah. I mean, what have I learned? Not a lot, to be honest. I'm still learning a great deal. Follow your heart. Nobody ever told me to do that. I kind of thought that was the best thing. My father told me, I put 5 years on it, his time's moved on. He said, don't get married before you're 30. So it's now 35, I think it's about the equivalent advice I can get. You don't know what you're doing by 30. You don't know who you are, I would argue, by 30. They're all probably married and going, that shit. Well, he doesn't know what he's talking about, he's never been in love. Yeah, I have, actually. I have. I've had my heart shattered. And it's a very hard thing to get over. But I would still say to my sons, chill out. I'm not saying you have to be with her for 20 years before you get married, but there's no rush. These are my voice. This is taken a month ago. I still learn a huge amount from them. Okay. So what should I do when I grow up? What should I do when I grow up? Well, I didn't say I want to grow up, so it's okay for now. Everything works. I want to show you just a very short video, which some of you, depending on how Facebooky or YouTubey you are, will probably have seen. It's kind of going viral right now. If it works, apparently the resolution is not very good. I don't think it needs to be that good. And it's only a couple of minutes long, but I think it says a huge amount, like a lot of these sort of clips do about perseverance, resilience, and basically just what we have to do when we hit walls. We just have to keep going sometimes, rather than blame somebody else and sort of say, no, it's nothing to do with me, and I wasn't connected, and I didn't know somebody, and etc., etc. So if you haven't seen it, it's 2008. I think this is when it happened. I maybe have to commentate, but I thought there was actually sound for this as well. It's not? Okay. It's alright, it's only 3 laps. Actually, the resolution's not bad. But this is the top ranked runners, high school runners, if you like, in the US. So everybody here is at the top of their game. This is not like a dream that's being televised. It's a big deal. US runners and probably future stars, etc. Again, people say incredible, impossible, and yes, it is impossible. It's absolutely impossible what she did. But she did it. And I think it's well worth bearing in mind. I'm not here to sort of, to preach about this stuff, but there is tough times. Romania has seen very, very tough times. I arrived here, I got my job on the 15th of September 2008. I don't know if anybody remembers what happened on that day. Yeah? The front page of The Economist review to the old jokey one basically was just black with, yellow letters which just said, oh fuck. I know what happened afterwards and where you are and what you've done through that, but all I can say in closing is, I think there's a huge amount of potential in this country. I think what you heard from the guys this morning, is absolutely true. I think you have a responsibility, whether you like it or not, to be part of that change and to accelerate it as well. I'm done. Thanks very much indeed.